Okay, I'm going to turn on YouTube now. We're going to go live. Takes just a few seconds to ramp up. All indications are green. Okay, the meeting is yours, Mr. Chair. Let me know if you need anything.
Well, I'm temporarily chairing your meeting today, so welcome to the January 19th meeting of the Downtown Development Authority. Before we begin our meeting today, I wish to make an announcement that I sincerely wish that I didn't have to make. On Saturday, January 6th, our DDA director, Mark Stacy, passed away. His death was very sudden and heartbreaking for his family and everybody that knew him. Mark gave his valuable time and expertise to the DDA for many years. His organizational skills and his thoughtful guidance were essential to the complicated and challenging work of the DDA. But Mark always had a mission, and it was single-minded, and that was to make Commerce Township a better place to live in. The residents of Commerce Township were truly blessed to have him as the DDA director. And the work that he did is evident everywhere in the DDA district. And will continue, I'm sure, to feel Mark's influences for many years as progress in the Commerce downtown development continues. Mark's legacy will probably be fully realized when we see the completion of what Mark would call his ride through the kingdom. He was greatly missed. He will be greatly missed by all of us who served with him on the DDA. And I'm certain I can speak for every one of us who work with Mark that we are saddened by the loss, not only of a coworker, but a friend. Our thoughts and prayers from all of us, I'm sure, go out to both his lovely wife, Teresa, and their daughter, Morgan. I know that our chairman, Jim Gotts, wants to say a few words, followed by Debbie Watson. And then we welcome anyone who would like to say a few brief words before the meeting begins. Jimmy?
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate the opportunity, as saddening as it is. Got about a half century involved with Commerce Township. Originally Union Lake Action Committee, the Planning Commission, then most recently the Downtown Development Authority. I've known and worked with Mark for probably 20% of that time. He was intelligent, knowledgeable, totally dedicated, and will be sorely missed. I think he's going to be virtually irreplaceable. I have great sympathy and empathy for his family, his lovely wife Teresa and daughter Morgan, and I wish to convey all of our heartfelt thanks for everything that Mark had done and paramount total sympathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim and Jim. I really appreciate Tim, you stepping in and chairing the meeting today. I just have a few words to share. I was so blessed to have worked alongside Mark for nearly 6 years now. He wasn't just my boss, he was a true friend and a mentor. It was an honor to be his work wife, as his family called me. Over the past few days, I've had to make a lot of phone calls. The list was daunting at first, but with each call, I found it to be therapeutic and comforting. Everyone loved Mark. Everyone has a story to tell about Mark. With each call and each story, the words that resonated were that Mark was a kind and selfless man, a true friend. He had an awesome sense of humor. He cared about you, your health, your family, your pets, your personal struggles, and your victories. He always remembered what you had going on, and that was always first. He was patient. He was a great listener. He was always happy to share his wisdom in every situation, offering good advice and guidance. I believe it was Susan Spelker who said, "Don't confuse kindness with weakness." That was fitting because Mark's kindness was definitely one of his strengths. And yet when he needed to be tough, he proudly rose to the occasion. He protected everything that he put his heart into, his family, his friends, his work here in the DDA and in Commerce Township. Mark was a brilliant, dedicated man. He was a fierce negotiator, a fearless protector, and a financial genius. I hope we can take the positive energy and life lessons that Mark has taught all of us about the kind of people we need to be every day and continue on our path to honor his memory and see this DDA project through. It was his mission, it was his passion, and it was his kingdom. Thank you.
Dan Lublin speaking. Knowing Mark before and after he joined the township in one form or another, he was a true friend to everybody and dedicated to the community 100%. He gave everything he could at all times, respecting everybody. He'll be more than sorely missed. He can never be replaced. But all I can say is that we are lucky to have had the best of him during his time with us, and may God take care of him and his family. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to make a comment?
Larry Gray here. Fortunately, but unfortunately, I've known Mark for only 2 months. But as I let everybody know today, Mark was the 2 months I knew him. What a great guy. He stopped in every morning, asked me how I was doing, asked me how my family was doing. That was actually the first question. Then he asked about me. But just from the couple months I got to know him, what a great guy. And when I got the message from Debbie, she called me Friday and then followed up. I can tell it's going to be a huge person to replace. And I just want to let everybody know that anything I can do to help, please let me know. And I look forward to working with everybody and continuing his legacy on getting the DDA developed and the kingdom that he wanted it to be. Thank you.
Anyone else? With that, I'd like to thank you all for those comments. We're gonna, in the DDA, we'll finish the job that of making Commerce Township a better place to live in, and we can make Mark proud. I think the most important thing in any man's life, or when I say man and any woman's life, is passion. And if you have it, you've lived a full life, and Mark surely had it. And we'll miss him. All right, with that said, can I get a motion for the approval of the minutes for the December 15th meeting?
Motion to approve the meeting of the 15th.
Support.
Motion approved. Debbie, I think we need a roll call vote on this.
Yes. Can you hear me? Making sure I'm not on mute. Lublin?
Aye.
Katz?
Aye.
Stelker?
Aye.
Smith?
Yes.
Gray? Larry Gray? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. Aye.
Okay. Winkler?
Aye.
Nada?
Aye.
Boyd? Tim?
Oh, aye.
Okay, thank you. Motion carried unanimously.
Okay, motion approved. Public comments, item number 2. Are there any public comments?
We do have, looks like maybe 1 or 2 callers that may want to speak. If you'd like to speak, please press *9 on your keypad. Again, please press *9 on your keypad, and that will raise your hand and allow us to see that you would like to speak, and we will ask you to unmute at that time. Okay, one last call here for the callers. If you'd like to speak, please press *9 on your keypad. Seeing no one at this time, Mr. Chair.
Well, with no public comments, we'll move on to item 3, which is the Insight Commercial Report. So Randy, you got the floor.
Thanks, Tim. And if I can just say a little something about Mark. For those of us who have some institutional knowledge, we'll probably remember that, Mark was actually an opponent of, what the DDA endeavored to do long before, what we see right now. And when he came on board, I wasn't sure what to expect. But much to my surprise, he was a big champion of what was going on. Literally, I'm going to say probably out of 4 days of the week, he'd be one of my first calls, like right around 8 to 8:30. And honestly, we talked more about our kids and hockey than we did doing the DDA stuff. So he became a friend. He'll surely be missed. There's no doubt about it. I wish he could have seen, what we've all been working hard for. But I know he's in a good spot right now, and he'll be happy on what we move forward and finish. So with that, I'll start with the report. Got nothing new on parcels A and H, in Barrington. They're going to be delivering a building about every 4 weeks. The tenant occupancy is starting. They will have probably, you can't deliver half of a building, but on the schedule, it would be, they'll look at delivering these buildings probably close to the end of the year, and it may take another 18 months before they get full occupancy. I did meet with Jim Galbraith over the holidays. He had told me that, the potential tenants, they're paying the rent and they love the space. So I haven't been in any of the units. I've just seen it. But, a lot of the work, all the foundations are in, and, the continued construction throughout the, the balance of this season. Is there any questions on the Barrington project? If none, then I'll move over to the Aikens project. I did talk with Bruce yesterday just to get his update as to relatively what was, what's been happening. Oddly enough, because of what happened with the, the virus, it's changed the retail landscape, significantly. We don't know if we've got a theater deal or a hotel deal right now. But conversely, a lot of these tenants that are in 12 Oaks have felt the pain, and there's been a big push not here, from 12 Oaks, but nationally to get into these outdoor venues. My conversation with Bruce yesterday was that, he's got other assets. He's watching, like in Rochester Hills. They only lost one tenant in Rochester Hills, which was the Victoria's Secret, but they're backfilling that. He feels pretty good about that because, a couple months ago, nobody knew what was going to happen, with, the retail landscape. So, he's working on a couple things. Today, we're going to be flying a group out of out of Ohio, to take a look at, the project area in the, in the market. Next month, I'll have a report on where that leads us, and I'll find out, who that is. But he still plans on moving forward. Davey's probably going to reach out to you here in the next 30 days to, I guess, continue the discussions we had, and particularly with what's going to happen with the, the residential portion of his part of the development, and then the development of the ring road. So I guess I would sum it up is no one saw this coming on last year. Certainly it was a big kick in the butt. It's pushed the project, at least his portion of the project, back. The upside is there's light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train coming at us. So I'll continue to stay in contact with him and try to keep the DDA up to speed as much as possible. I did ask him And Mark and I had talked about this in, probably at the beginning of the second quarter to come in, and to meet with the DDA and update the DDA himself. So we'll make sure that happens. Any questions on 5 and Main? If not, I'll continue. So we go to.
Randy, I did have one question regarding the Aikens property. It's been discussed over the last, recently, about Bruce making a presentation to the DDA. What do you think that would take place?
Brian, we're like I mentioned, we're looking to Mark and I were planning on doing that, in at the beginning of the second quarter. So I'd say, we should probably just look at maybe March. I would say April probably would be a little better. That way Bruce will be able to give us a little bit more of what he's got going on his end. So I'd say.
Thank you.
No problem. Parcel B1, that's actually the second phase of Bruce's development. He's got until October 31st, 2021 to close on that. I'm sure we'll be having some discussions on it. He hasn't brought anything up on this about potentially pushing that closing date off, but I would anticipate, based on what's happened, that'll be a discussion that we'll be having. Parcel B2, that's the Granger development at First and Main. Nothing new to report since last meeting. Parcel C, this is the hard corner of Pontiac Trail in Haggerty. We have had some activity. Actually, it was a little slow from Thanksgiving going through Christmas, but the first 2 weeks have picked up. We have had 3 inquiries, oddly enough, 2 from high-end senior development guys, and then another one from a local retail developer that I've talked to before on this, but he's keeping his eye on, and I think a lot of this interest when Bruce breaks ground will probably create a little bit more urgency on this from the folks that we're talking to. I don't have any deals on the table, but the good thing is here at the beginning of the year we have gotten calls. Parcels D and E, that's Merrill Park, nothing to report. Parcel F, that's the 3.9 acres. Like I said, it was quiet during the holidays. Nothing to report to the DDA board right now on that. Parcel G, that's the Hunter Pasteur project. I've got nothing to report on that. That's been sold. Gilden Woods, which was Parcel I. The only thing I could say to you from her, she's doing well at the location. They're actually doing better than they anticipated. Quite honestly, this site on the east side of the market is one of their best locations. So they're very pleased with what's going on in Commerce. Parcel J1, that's the remaining piece that we have at the hard corner of Oakley and Haggerty. Relatively quiet on this during the last month. I haven't had anything inquiries yet this month. J2, you probably have seen some color changes in some name changes on here. This is property was developed by North Point Development. They had a portfolio sale to Public Storage. Dave can probably bring you up to speed a little bit more on, I guess, what's going on with that. If you want to take it now, Dave, or you want to do it later.
No, that's fine. I actually just talked to that group this morning about procedurally where they need to be for site plan and special land use approval for the self-storage facility. And their hope is to be in front of the Planning Commission at their meeting on March 1st. So they asked some questions today about parking and some other things, but they are moving forward, like I said, with hopes of getting the approvals they need at the March 1st Planning Commission meeting.
Parcel K, I think last month we reported to you. I wasn't sure if they already had the. If I tell you something twice and you guys had it, it's just because I can't remember. Parcel K, the developer, the proposed development, this is the group based out of Atlanta. It's looking to do the self-storage. They did have a conceptual site plan review with the planning commission. It was, well received. This would encompass the DDA's parcel and the parcel adjacent to the west. The proposed development would also have a continuation vis-a-vis, an easement the developer is willing to grant, and then we've got to go to the state of Michigan to get the balance of the easement. But that potentially is a continuation of the trailway that eventually could lead into the development area into 5 in Maine. We have a purchase agreement that is in front of the DDA. I did believe Tom sent that out to you folks last Friday. That is going to go for a vote. I don't want to take Tom's thunder away, so I'll let Tom give you the details on that when he gives his report. Parcel L, this is the one, if you may recall, we had Goddard Schools on it. And Goddard Schools got surprised by corporate and said that they were going to hold off on approving this site because they were afraid of cannibalism on a location that's going to be going up at 13 in Haggerty. Being in the real estate business, I would tell you that, it's a different market from a traffic pattern and whatnot. She hasn't gotten any final word. She has pled her case. She's still waiting to find out if they're going to free up this location. I have reached out to other childcare providers because obviously there's still a need in the market, and haven't had any bites yet. But I'm not going to take Goddard off yet because I don't believe we're quite done on where eventually it's going to happen. The last two parcels, M and N. Again, our signs keep continually to get vandalized or stolen. But these are the two remaining pieces as Aikens starts to develop the ring road. That'll position one of the outlots immediately, and quite honestly, the second outlot, because it would be right across from where the proposed market is going to be. And just real quick, the market operator, I had a meeting with them about a week ago. They're very excited on putting their store here in Commerce. Very excited. So that's my report, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Randy, what's happening with the Beaumont property? Did you have any calls on that?
Yeah, I do. The vast majority of the calls I get are from residential developers, either looking, doing multiple family or, some sort of mixed use. Beaumont is hesitant to go down the road with a residential developer because of the site contamination on the northwest portion of the property. It's not that I'm stopping them. I'm not stopping the developers from looking. I'm making them, keenly aware that there's some issues. We do have a group. We had sent information out actually this morning. They think their initial read is, they think they can get a level of comfort. They're going to have to do some more homework, but I don't have a deal on the table with them. I've also got two industrial developers. We've talked on and off for a period of time. One of them actually put in a lowball offer, after when the property came back on the market, which we never responded back to. But they're back at the table along with another group. I don't know which way this is going to swing. The potential site contamination, like in any other development, kind of gives the trajectory of where you go. So that's kind of a sum. We get a lot of activity. I mean, we get a lot of calls, on the property, but the vast majority of them, believe it or not, out-of-state developers looking to do multiple family.
Thanks for the input, Randy.
No problem.
Any more questions for Randy? All right, with no more questions, we're going to move on to item 4, which unfortunately we're going to have to not do, which is the director's report. So obviously we're going to not have that session, but maybe we could just take a moment here of silence, because I really hate to steal Mark's thunder because he liked to talk during this little session. So maybe if we could just take 10 or 15 seconds of silence. There's a piano playing in the background, not on purpose, but maybe that'll help. All right, and the organ music was not planned either. All right, so let's move on to item 5, which is the attorney's report. Counselor, wherever you, there you are.
Thank you, Tim. I also want to express my intense sadness at losing Mark. As Randy said, from the time when he started as an adversary, he became subsequently developed to the best champion, I think, that we've had for our affairs. And it's going to be difficult to not have him on a every other day phone conversation. I have 2 matters before that I forwarded to you last week. The first one is the procedures for remote attendance at meetings, which the Township Board adopted and I believe recommended that the various departments and entities within the township consider. So I have taken the Township Board's version, converted it to a Downtown Development Authority procedures document. And unless there are questions, I would appreciate a motion to approve the procedures and adopt them on behalf of the DDA.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt in the new procedures as mentioned by the attorney.
Second.
Tim, you're on mute.
I'll second
Tim.
this.
I do have Lublin making the motion, Merkin second. Is there any discussion?
No. I'm fine.
Okay, I'll do the roll call. Lublin,
Yes.
Merkin,
Aye.
Smith,
Yes.
Gray,
Aye.
Gotts,
Aye.
Winkler,
Aye.
Matta,
Aye.
Hoy,
Aye.
Stelker.
Aye.
Thank you.
With the passage of that motion, we'll move on to the other issue, which you will recall at the last DDA meeting, you approved and directed us to move forward with an agreement consistent with the letter of intent for parcel K for the small driveway, you might say, parcel on the south side of Pontiac Trail east of M5 to assist the developer who has an option or dominion over the larger parcel to our west to put up an attractive kind of upscale storage facility. The agreement has been negotiated and we have obtained we have a final version of the agreement. 99% of it was sent to you last week. We corrected a couple of typos in the meantime. And we now have the ability to execute the agreement. And it is, if you remember from last week, there's actually last month, there actually was quite a bit of conversation in the minutes as well. So I won't dwell on the details. The importance to the DDA and to the township is that this assists the developer in being able to get reasonable access to Pontiac Trail, which the parcel that they are buying to the west of ours doesn't really have at this point. So as part of their acquisition and consistent with what the Planning Commission apparently advised them in their conceptual site plan presentation, They are going to dedicate an easement for construction of the pathway across the larger parcel they're buying and across our parcel if necessary, to be able to link to the township pathway system. So with that said, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. And if not, I'd appreciate a motion to approve. And what I would like to do, assuming approval, is have a resolution include the approval of execution of the document by Tim Hoy, currently chairing the meeting, by Tim Hoy and by the Melissa, the secretary, in lieu of having to have Mr. Gotts come in or work on it. And previously we had prepared it for Mark's signature. So we're now going to suggest that Tim sign instead, and we'll make sure that's in the resolution for whoever proposes it. Any questions?
You recommend execution, I take it, Counselor, correct?
Motion to approve and execute the deal as mentioned.
Yes, Jim, of course. I do recommend approval in this form. Dave Smith had commented last month that he wanted to be certain that they utilized a form of agreement that was consistent with our prototype, and they have done that. We've obviously made the appropriate changes to reference their transaction rather than someone else, but yes, it's generally in our form.
That's fine. I will support the motion as presented.
We need a roll call vote on that, Deb?
Yes.
Is there any further discussion? Okay, Lublin,
Yes.
Gotts,
Aye.
Gray,
Aye.
Merkin,
Aye.
Winkler,
Aye.
Nada,
Aye.
Hoy,
Aye.
Spelker,
Aye.
Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried unanimously.
So I will confirm that the resolution includes the approval of Mr. Hoy to execute on behalf of the DDA with the secretary.
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Any more questions of the counselor?
I do have one question, Tim, for Tom, and that's in regard to that base environmental assessment. Was that needed for a piece of property like this, Tom? I'm just going back to the Aikens property and the need to have done that as part of their purchase.
When, as I understand it, although I haven't reviewed the files on this parcel, this small parcel, less than half an acre, had a dwelling on it originally, which MDOT acquired, and they used the dwelling as a field office for the construction of M5. And we acquired that property perhaps 10 years ago. I frankly don't remember exactly. And the DDA did environmental examinations. I don't recall that a BEA was necessary or completed, but I have a recollection, and there is a file, of course, reflecting it, that there was some materials from the demolition of the dwelling were perhaps with asbestos or some other a small quantity of some detrimental condition. But I don't recall that there was a BEA done for that property.
Thank you, Tom.
Any more questions of council? With no questions, let's move on to item 6, which is the engineer's report. Matt?
Nothing much new. I want to just reiterate everybody else's comments. God bless Mark. I have a hard time with making any other comments like that, but he was always thoughtful and respectful, even in the most adverse situations, and it's a very good way to live. And actually, was it last week or the week before, we had some interactions with Aikens, very minor, but to help them out with some title work. They were trying to get their hand around some of the restrictions related to Walmart and the likes. So nothing serious, but it indicated that Aikens is actually looking at design work through the process. And that's really it. There haven't been any other developments or needs for the last month or so.
Question for Matt? Comments? With that, we'll move on to the planning director's report, item 7. Dave?
Thank you, and I'll go along with everyone else and say how much I'm going to miss Mark. He used to come in my office here pretty much every single morning, and we'd shoot the breeze. And I mean it when I say I'm gonna miss that a lot. The updates on some projects in the DDA area. The towns at Merrill Park. So this is the townhomes that Pulte hopes to build on the east side of Martin Road, right near Township Hall, just north of the Merrill Park neighborhood. They got their conditional rezoning approved by the Planning Commission and the Township Board, and so they will be back in front of the Planning Commission at the meeting on February 1st, seeking site plan approval for the condominium townhomes. These are going to be owner-occupied townhomes. I think 103 is the number they're hoping to get. So they need Planning Commission's site plan approval for that. The 84 Lumber Project, which is in the DDA boundaries up in the Homestead Industrial Park along Pioneer, they received site plan approval from the Planning Commission. They had to get a conditional rezoning approved first. They got that approved, and then at the Planning Commission's meeting in last week, Monday, they got their site plan approval. So they are hoping to get going on that project this spring. And a project that's been going on a long time that I often get questions about, when are they finally going to open that place, is the Zerbos on the south side of Maple, east of M5. And what we're hearing now is that they hope to open in the next month or so. One of their steps that they have to get to is to go in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals, because they're asking for a lot more signage for that building than what our zoning ordinance would typically allow. So they're going to go to the ZBA with a request for several sign exceptions. And that meeting is going to happen on January 28th, a week from Thursday. So those are my updates, unless anyone's got any questions for me.
Dave, I was curious how it's going with public storage with their signage.
Public Storage is bought out Beyond Self Storage. So Beyond Self Storage bought the DDA's property at Oakley and Haggerty and built the facility that's there now. Their whole operation has since been bought out by Public Storage. So Public Storage is rebranding all of those formerly Beyond Self Storage facilities, including the one here in Commerce. They submitted a sign package to the building department to rebrand the building with a new wall sign, new ground sign, or replacing the wall sign, replacing the ground sign, and also doing some rebranding efforts as far as bringing their corporate orange color onto the building. A lot of that corporate orange color, maybe too much of that corporate orange color. So we replied to Beyond Self Storage with our thoughts on their sign package. And to my knowledge, we have not heard back from them yet.
Thank you, Dave.
Welcome.
Any more questions of Dave? All right, hearing none, we'll move on to committee reports. And here's another sad one, Finance Committee. So again, because Mark ran that, we will postpone that. Let's go to Public Relations. Jose?
Thank you, Tim. The Public Relations Committee does not have any news to report today, but I want to express my deepest and sincere condolences to the family of Mark Stacy. As Randy said, I met Mark when, as a concerned and responsible resident of Township, he was raising important issues to the DDA. I never thought that later on, Mark will become in love with the DDA plans to make Commerce Township one of the best in the state. I am stunned, shocked by his passing. And as every member of this team said, he was a dedicated and an excellent director, but he was also an excellent colleague and a very good friend. And he was a strong supporter of the Public Relations Committee. He was one of the members of the DDA that came to every art exhibition in the library. And we talk a lot about how to make Commerce the ideal township. I'm going to miss Mark. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Jose. We'll move on to the marketing committee meeting. Dave?
Good afternoon, everybody. Like everyone else, Mark was an irreplaceable asset to the DDA and deserves a complete respect of the community. When it comes to marketing, I really don't think that there's anything that I can add that Randy hasn't. And I think we will all miss Mark definitely. So looking forward to seeing you all Thursday. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.
Any questions for Dave? All right, hearing none, we will move on to item 9, which is the approval of warrants and or carryovers, add-on revenue and expenditures report.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any comments? Debbie, can we get a roll call?
Yes, Gotts,
Aye.
Lublin,
Yes.
Merkin,
Aye.
Winkler,
Aye.
Nada,
Aye.
Hoy,
Aye.
Spelker,
Aye.
Smith,
Yes.
Gray. Larry? You're on mute, Larry.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Motion carried unanimously.
With that, we'll move on to item 10, other matters. Is any comments or other matters that would like to address?
I would like to ask Deb if she can explain the details of what we are planning for Thursday in honor to Mark Stacy.
We will be meeting at the Township Hall parking lot. There will be an opportunity at 1 o'clock when we meet there to say a few words to the group if you like to. Dave Campbell has volunteered to say a few words and I think it might be difficult outside and all spread out in our cars. So hopefully Dave's booming voice will help us through that. And once we've had some time to listen to the comments, then we're going to take the drive through the kingdom as explained in the email. Mark would always take the loop. He would drive with Morgan and inspect the DDA property. And he called it his ride through the kingdom. And he would go north on Martin, excuse me, and then he would take Oakley Park up to Welch Road and take that to Pontiac Trail, go to the large roundabout, circle through there, and then come up Martin Parkway through the roundabouts, and we'll return to the township there. So it'll be a nice socially distanced way to honor him and to share some time with his family so that they can meet his work family. I know a lot of us haven't had the opportunity to meet them personally. I've met Teresa once, and Morgan and I have never met, but we definitely feel like we know each other through all the stories that Mark would share back and forth of his work life and his home life. So we're definitely looking forward to seeing them, and should be a beautiful tribute for him.
Deb,
Yes.
Deb, I did want to mention a second email about making a suggestion about changing the route slightly. And if you read the email.
Okay.
Consideration. Thank you.
Okay. And Wendy, did you have any thoughts on Thursday for us? I know you're on mute, but I just wondered if you had any comments.
No, I'm planning on having patrol cars there to lead and follow up. Of course, we're going to be obeying all traffic laws, but you know, just to make sure we kind of try to keep our group together as much as possible.
Great. Thank you so much for that. And I know we're going to travel at 25 miles per hour, so we certainly won't be breaking the speed limit. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, if anyone has any input or questions, please feel free to call me or email me. And I'll certainly send out an update on Thursday if anything has changed with the route,
Thank you.
as Brian's recommending. Go ahead,
Hey,
Jim.
Deb. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you.
Any other comments? With that, I think the next regularly scheduled meeting is February 16th at 12 o'clock for the DDA. So lastly, I guess on this sad day, we would like to get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
And second,
Support.
Lublin, motion from Lublin, support from Gotts.
Yes. Lublin,
Yes.
Gotts,
Aye.
Merkin,
Aye.
Winkler,
Aye.
Matta,
Aye.
Hoy,
Aye.
Spelker,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Gray. Thank you. Motion carried. Thank you all for your support.
One quick comment, I think I'll kiss 2020 goodbye gratefully. Tough year for everybody. So everybody stay safe and most of all, stay sane.